Steve Guadagno, KOR Sports, right here with the great Larry Merchant. It's good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Man, we got Terence Crawford against Israil Madrimov. Moving up in weight, phenomenal fighter. Maybe once in a generation. When was like your first memory of Terence Crawford?
Well, he was a
24-hour day
kind of a skinny lightweight of some
Maybe I
kind,
should go ahead and use this
and
advantage for what it gives me.
was a very good boxer.
And
He
I was
really
looking back yesterday.
know what his high
and
limit would be.
very clear that
We hadn't seen him with a
you could see it in Spencer's eyes. I've
well-known
seen the problem of fighting a
fighter
southpaw.
yet,
I've seen the problem of fighting
but
a guy with big power.
he sure has exceeded my expectation.
Is this fight? Obviously everyone's kind of looking past it, looking at the Canelo fight, but Israil Madrimov is a real guy at 154 pounds. A guy who kind of melts down to make the weight. Is looking at Terence Crawford Canelo maybe a little premature, being that we have this fight against a dangerous opponent.
Well, my assumption is that both the Crawford and the Canelo people know how big a fight would be between them. I mean, make staggering amounts of money. So, having been around the game a long time, my expectation is that they're not overmatching him.
That being said, if he does get past Saturday night with a win, right, and we do get Crawford versus Canelo, that's a big jump still, right? It's still two divisions, 14 pounds.
Yes, it is. I don't know if there'll be some kind of weight agreement or not, but it is. It's a jump. But there's an old saying in boxing, if you're going to lose, you might as well get paid a lot of money for it.
Another saying in boxing is, the good little guy loses to the good big guy, right? Is that kind of, can you apply that to this, being that Crawford is kind of like really great, really?
Well,
they're both great.
Yeah, but he's a smaller, quicker guy, and age has affected Canelo, as it would any fighter who's fought as often as he has.
What's interesting about it
And
now we have 8 miles away.
but he's one of those guys who thinks it's great to want to be great, and he gets out there and he works his tush off, and he really trains hard. That's the hard part for older fighters, but he wants it badly. So I imagine he'll come to fight. Crawford will be smaller and he'll attack Crawford, and Crawford will use his boxing ability and his punching ability. I just want to see it.
We do have Canelo versus Berlanga next, a fight that didn't have a whole lot of fanfare, going into it yet. I mean, what are your thoughts on Canelo?
I really don't know the opponent. I just know Canelo and how he has been such a dogged, tough, hard guy who trains as if his life depended on it for every fight. And you have to respect that. And so far, it's done pretty well with it.
Does Canelo deserve the criticism he gets for not facing David Benavidez, being that obviously he's already had a Hall of Fame career, but he still has the titles, so David is the next best guy?
I think the criticism is justified. But if he bypasses the criticism because he can make tens of millions of dollars, that's the game.
Is there any fighter that Larry Merchant's like, oh man, like I have?
At Fiverr, we offer 3D rendering services. But you probably already know a guy who knows a guy who has a cousin who
have to watch this guy. Is there like, I don't know, like a group of fighters that you're like, must watch TV, I'm canceling what I'm doing, I'm watching this guy, this girl?
Well, I think Crawford is that guy. I mean, he took, what's his name apart?
Munguia. Oh no, I'm sorry, Earl Spence.
Spence,
right.
Which surprised me. Your eyes can't be all wrong. And
And I said, he should work.
um,
He's a
you know, the routes to the top
only
can
about
be
winning the fight.
awfully
Nothing
different.
else is
You know, going up the mountain.
meaningful in
And
and by the way,
some guys will get up
yeah,
there
okay,
and
it's fun to be
they'll be too old to reach the top.
but what
And some guys will just scramble up there and
it's all right.
begin punching the air.
Is what I asked Jim this a while back, and I asked him like, what's his favorite Larry Merchant moment? What's your, and he said, you know, when you confronted you know, Floyd, and you know, if I was 50 years younger, just what is Larry Merchant's favorite moment, if you could think of it?
First, let me tell you my favorite Jim Lampley moment.
Yeah, excellent. That was going to be my next question.
Well,
Yes, audience behind him.
when Tyson fought,
He has the two Golovkin conquests behind him, et cetera. He's
when he
$1
lost in that monumental upset.
Buster Douglas.
To Buster Douglas.
in the great tradition
At
of
the
Ray
end of
Roberts,
the fight,
add that other distinction.
when Buster Douglas knocked out Tyson,
Thank you.
and people couldn't believe their eyes, or people who hadn't watched it couldn't believe their ears. Jim just said plainly,
All right.
that was so appropriate for the moment. Mike Tyson has been knocked
Santa Monica
out.
Riyadh season with none other than Jim Lampley,
Who would have
always
thunk it?
ringside for my whole childhood,
Incredible,
growing up for every single
My
big
last
fight
one,
on HBO.
Larry.
Here we are,
What's your favorite like piece of memorabilia? I'm sure you had your house is full of it. You know, you probably lost more than most people will ever have. Just what is there like one that sticks out that maybe just special to you personally, like as a kid, or I don't know. So anything like that?
I was never a memorabilia collector,
Show of force,
but inadvertently,
what
some things, mostly photos, you know, and stuff like that.
Financial freedom to do
And
whatever.
I have a photo
And
of me on the
as
set
an
of a
attention getter and
show I was
an
doing for
attraction
USA
builder,
Network,
the Sheikh,
and Ali was the guest. And there was Ali in the background while I was
HBO and Showtime
trying to do a
were
spiel.
rivals where promoters wouldn't work together to make
Sparring
fights, where we always
in the
said
air
that we didn't get the fight
and
we wanted
laughing.
when we wanted it. And
It's priceless
it seemed
to
like
me.
there was no solution to something
But I
like that.
have, you know, I
Are
have
you
other
surprised
things,
at
and
how quickly
I don't.
His Excellency
It's
is
added
able
up to a kind of
get the
museum
boxing
in my
world.
house.
You got to charge tickets. Larry, appreciate it. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, sir. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy the fights.
Está pues, lo que en algún momento uno sueña hacerlo. So the face to face it was great, and then he's ready for anybody like just from the state. So this is not going to be the exception.
Have you noticed that all the fans are here for you and Angel Reese? We're in Los Angeles, a lot of Mexican people that are here for you. How does it make you feel?
¿Cómo te sientes de estar aquí en tu defensa, aquí en los Estados Unidos, rodeado de tanta gente mexicana, al igual que Angel Reese? No, me siento muy contento, muy agradecido con toda la gente, con Dios por el apoyo. Y bueno, nosotros venimos a darles una gran pelea.
What do you think about?
It's very exciting and happy to be here once again back in LA. and then he's gonna do the best this coming Saturday.
What can you promise to the fans that are coming on Saturday?
¿Qué prometes para tu defensa este próximo sábado? Prometo una gran pelea para toda la afición. He's gonna do a great fight.
Gracias.
What do you think about Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson possibly fighting?
¿Qué piensas en la pelea de Tank Davis y Stevenson? Va a ser una gran pelea para irse a dormir. It's gonna be a great fight to everyone to sleep.
Isaac, a 1 a 10, ¿qué tipo de rival es Edgar Berlanga para Canelo?
Del 1 al 10, ¿qué tipo de peleadores es Edgar Berlanga para Canelo? Pues puede ser un 8, puede darle problemas a Canelo.
¿Qué piensas que todos los criticism que gana Canelo porque no está peleando con David Benavidez?
Pues creo que Canelo es el lado A y él es libre de hacer lo que él quiera. Ahorita ya está, pues lo que en algún momento uno sueña hacerlo, escoger, decidir con quién pelear, y creo que él es libre de hacer lo que él quiera.
You're safe to say you're not a big fan of Shakur Stevenson's style. Why you not a big fan of that fight, and why didn't you take the fight at 135 for the WBC title?
Por lo que se ve, no eres un gran fan de las peleas de Stevenson. ¿Por qué es que opinas eso de esta pelea? Tú dime cuántas peleas de Stevenson han sido entretenidas. Let us know which fight of Stevenson was a great performance.
I mean, the Oscar Valdez fight, the Yoshino fight, Jamel Herring fight. He stopped Jamel Herring. He stopped Yoshino. He had a great performance against Oscar Valdez. I mean, he had 2 fights that the fans, quote unquote, say was lackluster. But outside of that, good fights, right? You don't think?
Pues es que no puede ser gran pelea si 2 peleadores nada más buscan un golpe, pues sería difícil apreciar una gran pelea. It never can be a great fight or great performance looking for just one punch.
But isn't it the fighter's his opponent's job to cut the ring off and make him fight? Wouldn't that be your job to cut the ring off and force him to fight?
No tengo nada que pensar porque me dormiría pronto. Nothing to say about it.
So you're not a fan?
My name is Terence Crawford. I'm a Nike NYC trainer, and I'm wearing the Nike Zoom TR1. It's versatile enough to wear before I work out.
¿Cómo ha cambiado la vida de Pitbull Cruz a coronarse campeón? Noquear a Rolly de una forma, la verdad, contundente. ¿Cómo ha cambiado tu vida día a día?
No ha cambiado para nada, ha incrementado las ganas de seguir entrenando día a día más fuerte y entregándonos 100% a cada entrenamiento y todo.
La victoria perfecta para Pitbull Cruz, ¿qué sería? ¿Lo quieres noquear?
Yo vengo para dar un buen espectáculo para toda la gente y vengo por la victoria al defender exitosamente el título del mundo.
La división 140 libras es de las más contundentes que hay, digamos, en el boxeo. Ganándole al Rayo Valenzuela, ¿qué nombre te gustaría? Sabes que seguimos que quieres pidiendo ese nombre de Ryan García, pero como que te da la vuelta.
Yo estoy listo para quien sea. Ahorita está enfocada mi mente, mi preparación para el Rayo Valenzuela, para ganarle cueste lo que cueste. Y bueno, nosotros venimos por todo.
Ya se habla...
¿Qué sientes de ver toda esta gente que te apoya, que siempre quiere al boxeador mexicano? Es la segunda casa a Los Ángeles para el boxeo.
Sí, totalmente. Yo muy agradecido con toda la gente que siempre ha mostrado sus muestras de apoyo y de cariño, y a la que no también les agradezco porque eso me ha hecho más fuerte y aquí seguimos de pie.
Isaac, te quedamos tiempo para tu DN, aquí está con nosotros. Me imagino, Isaac, que esto es un gran momento para ti. La gente te corea, está cerca de ti. ¿Cómo te sientes para esta gala?
No, me siento muy contento, muy feliz y bueno, venimos muy bien preparados para dar un gran espectáculo y hacer exitosamente la primera defensa del título.
Vi que le quedaste viendo completamente frontal a José el Rayo Valenzuela. ¿Qué pensaste? ¿Qué le ves?
Yo no tengo nada contra él, creo que siempre en cada encuentro hay una rivalidad y en esta no será la excepción. Y bueno, yo vengo confiado en lo que hemos hecho en Ciudad de México en el campamento.
¿Cómo atacar esa distancia? Es más alto que tú, tiene un jab largo, ¿cómo hacerlo?
Sí, nosotros venimos preparados para todo tipo de plan de estrategia que traiga el Rayo y venimos muy bien preparados, enfocados en el plan de trabajo.
¿Prometes un knockout? La gente está esperando eso de ti.
Yo no prometo nada, yo vengo a dar un gran espectáculo round tras round.
Tu pelea va en vivo por Canal 5 en México a las 9 de la noche.
Totalmente, no se lo pierdan por el 5 Isaac el Big Bruce teniendo el título del mundo.
Te agradezco, Isaac, un abrazo.
No, al contrario, gracias.
Isaac, se le cae la pelea a Tank Davis contra Shakur Stevenson. Si ganas esta pelea, ¿te gustaría dar esa oportunidad que él suba otra vez a las 140 libras?
Yo estoy listo para enfrentar a Shakur Davis cuando él quiera. Estoy más que listo, no de ahorita, sino ya de tiempo atrás.
Muchas las luchas de lo que ahora la gente, saben de algo los boletos, dicen que toda la gente viene a verte aquí.
Yo muy agradecido, muy contento con Dios por la oportunidad con toda la gente y yo vengo a disfrutar que toda la gente hizo el esfuerzo para podernos apreciar.
Última para mí, la gente está criticando un poco a Canelo Álvarez por enfrentar a Edgar Berlanga. ¿Qué opinas de esa pelea?
Entonces, yo creo que no hay que menospreciar a nadie, sabemos que Edgar Berlanga también ha ido en ascenso y bueno, creo que va a ser buena pelea por todo lo que conlleva la rivalidad entre ya las dos naciones, Puerto Rico y México, y bueno, va a ser una gran pelea.
No, ya tiene bastante años que Canelo no gana por la vía del rápida por nocaut. ¿Crees que Berlanga es ese oponente perfecto para noquearlo?
Pues no hay que menospreciar a Edgar Berlanga, sabemos que cuando uno tiene una gran oportunidad siempre se aferra y da lo mejor de sí.
Isaac, ¿qué piensas de la pelea con Gervonta Davis y Shakur Stevenson?
Pues yo creo que las peleas de Shakur Stevenson es para ir a dormir y bueno, no hay mucho que decir.
Isaac, yo creo que mucha gente está juzgando a Canelo, pero Canelo está siendo inteligente en el box, en hacer dinero en esto y pues ha demostrado que es grande en todo.
Totalmente, ahora sí que no hay excusas, no hay pretextos para decir que no es grande Canelo, y quien lo dice es porque no realmente nunca se puso unos guantes, no sabe de lo que es el boxeo, pero bueno, cada quien tiene sus libres críticas de expresión.
Isaac, ¿cómo se siente tener esa apoyo de la gente que
There's no bad blood.
Switching stances, just like Terence. Has that been part of the game plan as well, kind of addressing that?
Ain't gonna make no difference, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all that motherfucker right there. Hey, ain't gonna make no difference. It's gonna be more of a think tank.
You know, so Nelson told me he's 168 pounds. He said Terence's power translates all the way up there. Obviously not looking past this fight, but if we do get a Canelo fight, are you confident in Terence's?
It's gonna beat his ass. It's gonna beat his ass. If we get to that point.
What do you think about Errol Spence? It sounds like he might be retiring.
Well, I wish the best for him.
There you go. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate your time, sir.
Just keep it like this.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Keep it looking strong for years to come with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil, and a blend of supplements that support healthy hair. 3 in 4 Hims customers say they wish they started using hair treatment earlier. Get ahead now to keep the hair you love. Get started today at Hims.com.
This Friday,
we're gonna find that voter.
The hunt for the wildest movie of the summer
Everybody run!
ends here.
My dad sent me. His shortest soldier.
Yeah.
Borderlands, rated PG-13, Friday.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
Steve McCoy, KOR Sports are here with the great Shady LeSean McCoy. Good to see you, sir.
Always good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man. Man, we got a good one, right? It's I mean, people who know, I know you know, you're a boxing fan. This main event is you know, Crawford's in pretty solid. This is no walk in the park for him. How do you see the main event going?
I see Crawford winning. I do think that Israil is a solid fighter, right? He has a belt. You know, what is it, 11, 12 fights he got? So he's
10, 11, yeah.
I know,
but he has like 400 amateur
Yeah,
fights.
I know. Amateur is different from pros.
Right.
But I think he's a good player. I mean, I think he's a good fighter. I watched him fight, you know, athletic, can move, got some power to him. It's pretty good. Crawford, man, in my opinion, Crawford's like a top 10 type talent fighter of all time. You know, smart, tough, strong, can box, can move, super IQ, but then he can brawl if you want to brawl, a lot of power. He moves up, it travels with him. I mean, it's hard to talk about Crawford because he's just that good. So I think he wins. You know what though? I don't think it's gonna be one of those like early stoppages though, right? I do see it going past 9-10 rounds, right? I think he stops him late, but I think Crawford's he's too good, bro. He's too good.
With that being said, right, if he does get the victory on Saturday, everyone's talking about, you know, Canelo versus Crawford later.
I don't think Canelo does it. I think it's just, why wouldn't you fight the smaller guy with a big name? The only thing I can think about is that he knows there's a potential that he could lose, right? Crawford's special. I mean, Canelo's talked about how good Crawford is. I just think that he don't do it. I would love to see it, though. I think you talk about legacies, legacy fight. Talk about payday, it's a payday type of fight. So to me, it's a no-brainer, but I just think when you ask him questions of like, why wouldn't he fight him? I don't know. I think it's more of just at that level of like, not fear, but just maybe a chance that he could lose. Why even risk it at this point of his career?
I mean, you say that, right? We do have Canelo versus Berlanga, which is, you know, not the fight that we all want, right?
Yeah, but even that, so it's like he knows he's gonna win that fight. Where here it's like a little risk. Damn, fighting a smaller dude, but damn, he's really, really good. Got some power and he can box. You know, and I think the fear of the risk that I could lose, I don't think he wants that. His last couple fights he took, he knew he's gonna win. You know what I mean? He knew he was gonna win. So, but I respect Canelo. One thing I will say, I don't believe in ducking with certain fighters. I think he's earned the right to move the way he's moving. He's younger. He went through all them guys he had to go through. Floyd, when he was young, he went through all them guys he had to go through. And then when he got to that elite level of the pound for pound guy, he could pick who he wants. That's how it works.
So do you think that's kind of the last of us seeing Canelo against like top tier guys? Do you think we've seen all that we're going to see of him fighting those top tier?
I think he had one more because he got 60 fights or something like that.
It's close to that, yeah.
Yeah, so like
it started at 15, so I mean
that's a long time of fighting though, bro. And then we talking about fights, we ain't even talking about sparring. You know what I mean? So I played ball, so I know how hard it is to continue to be at elite level, practicing, training, and playing. So I don't mind it. I mean, I would love to see the big fights, obviously, but if it doesn't happen, it don't happen. But I think he'll give us one more good one before he's done. Because Berlanga is like, I mean,
for 1 to 10, what is like the 1 to 10? Like how big of a threat is Berlanga? Do you think?
I think there's no threat, right? And I won't hate on him because I think that to where he got in life, you know, he had to be good. You know what I mean? And he from amateurs to pros, but just Canelo's a different animal.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold on.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Thank you, man. Thank you. Just we were talking about Canelo, right? Does he deserve the criticism he's getting for not facing a David Benavidez, or is it kind of like you said, he fought all those guys younger, and it's he's earned it?
I mean, like everybody's always hungry, right? So I respect it, and I think Benavidez is a hell of a fighter too. He's a badass. But I mean, like it's Canelo's choice because he earned it. You know, and it's like it's funny because I remember like guys like Errol Spence was speaking on he wanted to fight Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman was the guy, and they never had the fight happen, right? And I remember Earl was saying, I would never fight Keith Thurman because when I was younger, I wanted that shot. He didn't give it to me. So that let me know that when you're the top dog, you call the shots. That's how it works, right? Like Crawford. He's been this good, this great. But you have been ducking him and all this stuff for all this long, not fighting him, and giving excuses. So now he the king. He can do whatever he wants. So I don't really judge dudes like Canelo's of who they want to fight because he's earned the right to do it, right? I mean, they didn't give him the spot. He earned it. So, I mean, if he wants to fight Benavidez, I think he will. I think once the money's right, I think he'll do it.
100 mil, 150 mil?
Come on, man. And then everybody was like, why are you saying that? And I was like, why are you saying that? But then I thought about it, like, well, hold on. Because I seen Floyd do it to Pacquiao. I wanted to put Pacquiao 5-6 years before he did it. The money got right. It was the time, and it worked. So, I mean, it's a sport, but it's a business first.
Shady.
When we start talking that boxing,
boxing. I got him going. Appreciate you, Shady. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much to the Farmer's Dog for sponsoring today's video. As you saw, our
Thank you, Teddy. Between 1 and 10, what
We'll do
type
more
of
at the
threat?
same time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What threat level is Berlanga to Canelo? Between 1 and 10.
Berlanga's a very talented young fighter. He's undefeated. He hasn't learned how to lose. He's a terrific fighter. He's only getting better. He has shown the ability to learn, the ability to grow, the ability to, when he gets more seasoning, which he has his last few fights, he's shown that improvement. He's on the right path. There's no doubt about it. I just don't know if he's got enough seasoning now to beat Canelo. I put him in the same way as Munguia. Munguia had more fights, I get it, but he didn't have that level of fights on that stage to really deal with Canelo. He had a lot of fights, and I love Munguia. The way he handles himself, everything. The way he handles himself before, after fights, what he does in the ring, the heart, the chin, everything. But I felt that he did not, going into the Canelo fight, Munguia just didn't have enough experience. And that's part of the reason I felt Canelo's people felt comfortable picking him, quite frankly. Nothing against Canelo. I mean, you got to be smart. You know, that's part of the game. You manage. So especially if you're the golden boy and you have the ability to pick your spots because you bring the money. So obviously you're going to have the power to do that, where someone else can't do that because they don't bring the money. They don't bring the pay-per-view. They don't bring what Canelo brings. So he's earned that, but that's a fact. And I believe that Berlanga's in the same, sort of the same boat, where he has improved. Munguia had improved, but he still needed a few more fights at that level to season enough to handle a guy like Canelo, that experience. And I think that Berlanga still needs a little more. But you know what? There's one X factor. Canelo's a little older now. And that's the one thing that he's battling against. There's a tiny bit of slippage. There is, you're going to be honest, a little bit. But look, he's still terrific, Canelo. But nobody wins 100% of the time against Father Time. Sooner or later, Father Time gets you. And I don't know where Canelo is in that battle yet, but I know he's getting there. And maybe that he's gotten a little older since the Munguia fight. That could play for Berlanga where he gets old. Because there will be a day, if he stays around long enough, where you say, oh, wow, he got old. Like, as you're watching him, you say, wow, he got old. Wow. He really did. And so I don't know if that day's coming, but aside from that, I don't think it's here yet. Aside from that, I have to like Canelo again because same thing. Berlanga, I think, just needs a little bit more season, a little more time.
You know, some of the fans are upset with him and they're claiming they're going to boycott Canelo Berlanga, but he's going head up against UFC Noche. How do you think that's going to affect?
You know, he is going head up, and I'm a little confused by it. I'll tell you why. We know Canelo does good numbers, and we understand all that. But it doesn't seem like anybody beats UFC. UFC, and you always got to put the proof to what you say. All I say is this: do we forget a couple years ago where Canelo and them actually waited and actually put back the time they came out? They were supposed to come out about an hour earlier, and they actually put it back because they didn't want to go against UFC.
Nate Diaz Masvidal
Yeah,
won.
right.
Yeah, the
I didn't
mother
forget
effort.
that. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't forget that. Did Canelo's people forget that? I don't know, but I didn't forget that. You conceded that you weren't going to go against you. You were there. It was the same night, and you had to wait because somebody whispered in your ear, "Hey, we ain't going to get an audience we want to get if we go on now because they're watching UFC."
They played it in the stadium.
So I'm just a little So I'm a little confused. Everyone does things for different, motivations. Some of the right ones, some of the wrong ones. But I'm confused that they would go up against that horse against. They raced against that horse once, and they didn't do that well. They didn't come in the money. So I'm just a little confused that they're going. Maybe it's ego. Maybe it's like now we don't. Whatever it is. But it's going to be curious to see, isn't it? That if they getting ready to come in the ring and then all of a sudden they say, well, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a little dance and song act now because we have to wait a little while until the UFC has passed by." I don't know.
So Tyson Fury's keeping the same team for the rematch with Alexander Usyk.
He should keep the same team. They got him here. He should be loyal. He should keep the same team. They've done a good job. There are things that he can add to, that he can improve in. I'm sure his people will make him aware of it. There definitely are things. But
more aggression?
Well, I mean, look, there's things that he maybe could have used the uppercut more because it was very effective in that 6th round. Maybe he could have used it throughout the fight a little more, maybe. Maybe there's things that he could have just added off of controlling him with the jab. I have a saying: you set the table with the jab and you eat with the right hand, right? Maybe he could have, went to the refrigerator a little bit, brought out a few, to wherever the stock box is, wherever he keeps the right hand, and brought them out with the jab a little more. Maybe he could have done that because he was definitely doing well with the jab. He was setting the table. Maybe he could have ate a little more. Definitely, but he was in there with a special guy, a guy whose greatest talent, nobody understood was his greatest talent going in. Oh, he's too small, he's too this, he's too... No. He does one thing as great as anybody has ever done it. He finds a way to win. Usyk has always done that. That's a talent. That's a special quality. Finds a way to win. Just finds a way. And that was obviously on display there that he did that. And again, I applaud Fury. I like, to me, the most important trait we can have as human beings is to be loyal. Most important thing, you know what? Why? Because it shows strength. Because it ain't always easy to be loyal. It ain't always easy. So I applaud him for that. I think he's doing the right thing. There are things that he can improve. There's no doubt about it. But he'll be doing it against a guy that it's the same special guy. And one other thing plays into that rematch. I always say this when I was doing all the fights on ESPN, that the reason I protect these fights, I always stood up for fighters. I got myself fired for doing it. And I said when a fighter got robbed, so I did it to the point where I'm no longer the broadcaster. That's okay, because I can live with that. And God's been good to me. I'm doing other things, so I'm okay. But thank you. I always say that people don't understand why I would get so riveted and go after these judges and go after all these corrupt people and call them out. Because every time a fighter gets in the ring, he gets out of the ring with less of himself. That's why. He gets out of the ring with less of himself. He does. It's a physiological fact. And both those fighters left that ring that night, that great night, they left with less of themselves. That's going to play in the rematch. Who left more of themselves in the ring in that last historic, iconic night? That's going to play. That's going to be important.
Teddy, last thing, how did Crawford look at 154? Last thing.
He looked great. Crawford looked good at 254. Crawford is special. Crawford is. I never will go against Crawford. That man is special. He's special in every way, technically, physically, and the most important way, inside himself, in his mind. He doesn't believe anyone can beat him, and nobody's convincing me that they can or him.
Thank you, Teddy. Appreciate it, sir.
Very much.
The best part of the trip was before it even started. It was the stopover in Dubai. The scuba dives, relaxing by the pool, or selfies with Burj Khalifa. It took so much off my bucket list.
Thank you. Big fan favorite, brother. Good to see you, man. Man, real quick, I don't think we talked about it, but Canelo versus Berlanga got announced. I want to say after I spoke to you. Just what are your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's gonna be good for. I think it's gonna be good for the rivalry. You know, Mexico. He should be around here. Yeah, he's around here. You know, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. There's always a big rivalry. So I'm pretty sure the fans are gonna tune in. But it's I don't us in boxing, I would rather see him fight somebody else like Benavidez. But still gonna be big. Still gonna be huge. Still gonna be big.
Between give Berlanga like a 1 through 10, like what's like his level of threat level to Canelo, like from 1 to 10?
¿Cómo están? ¿Todo bien?
Go ahead. So yeah, Robert, between like 1 and 10, the threat level to Canelo, what is Berlanga?
Maybe a 1. One punch. Maybe one lucky punch. That's probably all I could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the rivalry, Puerto Rico, it's still gonna sell. Still gonna do good.
Do you think it still does good, even though UFC is having the Noche UFC?
What you did after boxing. Thank you, appreciate it. You know what? It's gonna be tough, but I think it still does because boxing fans are still gonna tune in. It's boxing and MMA is different sports. I think boxing fans are still going to tune in.
Yeah, and last one, man. Tank versus Shakur. Stylistically, how does it play out, do you think?
Do we even think it's going to happen? I really don't think so. And if it does, it'll be interesting because both are very skillful. Maybe a little bit boring, but it'll still be, we'll still watch. We'll still watch because, they're both very talented.
We want to see what happens, right?
I think it'll be interesting to watch.
All right, best of luck with Ryle this weekend, brother. Appreciate it. Sean Showtime Porter right here with KLY Sports.
No, don't do that. You know better.
I'm sorry. My bad. I do know better. You're right. Man, you were kind of had a better view than me up there with those two guys. I don't know, seeing them like face to face, all that. Do you draw anything from that? Seeing their bodies closer together?
No, I mean, the Uzbek guys, the Eastern European guys, they have a stone cold personality, energy, but they're always ready to go to work, So I don't know, man. I don't have any feelings of anything crazy happening. but I wouldn't put it past Madrimov, man. He is a special fighter. He's just getting in the ring with a more special fighter, and we can say more special because we've seen more from Terence beyond that. We know that Terence can do so many different things, you know.
Man, Canelo Berlanga got announced. I want to say since the last time I've seen you.
Yeah.
Just from 1 to 10, how big of a threat is Berlanga to Canelo?
Respect to Berlanga. When we did the announcement for this fight, I stood next to him, interviewed with him, and got to feel his energy and who he is. And I said, all right, now, it's a good guy. With all that being said, man, he ain't shown us enough. You know, that being said, I think it's a 2 or a 3. You know, respectfully, I don't think it's much more than that. I don't think that fight goes the distance.
Do you feel that Canelo's going to get a lot of criticism? I mean, you said yourself 2 or 3. Is it deserving, or is it just kind of boxing fans
It's
just being rabid?
You keep putting yourself in this position. It's time for you to peace out, bro. If you're not taking on the fights that people want to see, that's we pay to see what we want to see. We pay for the entertainment. We'll pay if we know that eventually we're going to get what we want to see. If you're not giving people what they want to see, then why are you here at this point? You giving us, I'm on record, you giving us everything you could give us. I'm at the point, I'm like, hey, why are you trying to give us more? And if you're trying to give us more, you're not giving us what we want, then you're kind of like, it's purposeless, you know? So who knows what it looks like for him, man. I think that, you know, this ain't what we want to see, and we'll never get what we truly want to see. I will bet that we get this before we get the big man, the big monster, you know?
Just a topic in boxing right now, you know, in the Olympics, obviously, that...
I ain't touching that.
Okay.
One more.
All right, last one.
Yeah, you getting crazy.
And as I feel like maybe the only person that's been in the ring with Usyk and Terence Crawford.
That's where you gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, you told me one more.
He said, let me reach for one.
Pound for pound, I don't know. I mean, just more like in the ring, the
that's
styles.
That's so hard to really gauge which one would you choose as your pound for pound. They both have been simply amazing in their own ways. Why we need to choose, man? That's 1A and 1B, man. 1A and 1A. You know what I mean? I can't choose. I really can't.
Like style wise, who was maybe like, I don't know, just like mentally.
They both, you know what I mean? Like it would be different. It would be different if Usyk was a big guy. It took a long time to get to it, but he was knocking out everybody. I mean, like he's a big guy that's active, that's giving you round by round. He's giving you a lot every single round. Terence Crawford, we see that he's making adjustments. We see even when he ain't punching that he's definitely watching, looking. You know what I mean? Like they're both active. Like, damn, I can't give you. I can't. I even saw on the thing they had it Usyk anyway, and then Crawford. And I'm like, I don't know whose pound for pound that is. And I'm like, I don't know how you came up with that. It makes all the sense in the world, but I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it. It should have been Usyk 1, NUA 1, Crawford 1, and then you start 3,
That's
4, 5,
four,
or you start 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There it is. Sean, the Port Away podcast.
Yes,
Catch
sir.
it everywhere you can. YouTube,
Everywhere,
all platforms.
Releasing our shows on Mondays now.
Okay.
We ain't making y'all wait so long. And we got a Patreon too. /TPWP. Download the app. There's a tier on there for you, man. $5 all it costs. And we giving you all this exclusive footage that you don't get every day.
There it is. Appreciate you, Sean.
So I'm gonna
always
need this because most people don't. This is behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
So shoot this to me, okay?
Yeah. Oh, I will for sure. All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ryan.
Marco, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien.
A 1 a 10, ¿qué tipo de rival es Berlanga para Canelo?
Pues yo creo que mañana puede salir uno, este cubano, ¿cómo se llama? Que se acaba de empezar, peso medio. Morel. Es muy bueno, fíjate que no se ha mencionado, no ha levantado la mano él, pero es un campeón mundial. Canelo quiere campeones, entonces yo creo que él no está mal.
Y Canelo está peleando con Berlanga. El próximo peleo a 1 a 10, ¿qué tipo de rival es Berlanga para Canelo?
Bueno, yo creo que te voy a decir la verdad, sin faltar el respeto a Berlanga, no hay peleador fácil. Cada que se sube uno al ring, sube a arriesgar la vida, pero yo creo que para el nivel que se encuentra Canelo, hubiera agarrado algo un poquito más fuerte. Berlanga tiene 22 peleas en total, Canelo tiene 24 peleas de campeonato mundial, o sea, la experiencia es muy grande, pero al final del día el espectáculo, todo puede pasar arriba del ring, igual y pensamos que no, pero Berlanga viene y se mete un tirazo con Canelo Álvarez.
Ahorita Canelo no quiere pelear con David Benavidez. El criticismo que él gana para eso es verdad, es como, you know, like, is it true? Is it like...
No sabemos si sea verdad o no. Un boxeador por lo regular difícilmente dices no a una pelea. Yo creo que ha de haber otras cosas atrás que no han de estar en las negociaciones con Canelo Álvarez, porque ha demostrado, enfrentado a muchos campeones mundiales. Benavidez igual se ganó su lugar, estuvo sentado como 2 años como número del mundo. Creo que los dos merecen la pelea, pero más que ellos merecerla, la merecemos nosotros, el público, los fans. Ojalá que nos la den, que nos la regalen, porque será un regalo para todos los aficionados.
Marcos, toma la decisión correcta Benavidez en quedarse en las 175 libras y no forzar. Sé que ha sido el mandatorio por 3 años, pero por lo menos poner algo más de presión a Saúl.
Te digo la verdad, a mí me encantaría, yo lo vi pelear en las 175 libras, siento que se veía muy pequeño. Yo lo dije en Provox TV, que se baje. Los que pensábamos que era un peleador grande para las 168, ya vimos que no, es un peso real. No sé qué pasó, no sé si su promotor tuvo que hacer unos movimientos cuidando a sus demás boxeadores por el Consejo Mundial de Boxeo, pero Benavidez yo creo que hubiera presionado, ¿no? No es fácil estar tantos años como número 1 del mundo.
Por lo que viste de Benavidez esta noche, ¿es capaz para vencer a un Big Bull, a un Beterbiev, si llega a cualquiera de los dos?
Todo puede ser capaz, la realidad es que con un boxeador que tenía un rato sin pelear, que tenía ya varias inactividad, parece ser que se lastimó una mano. Habría que regalarnos otra pelea con un rival igual de buena magnitud para saber, decir, caray, Benavidez está para este peso, pero yo en lo personal dije me gustaría que bajara a las 168.
Marco, tú mencionas el cubano David Morel, él también sube las 165 libras, deja el título a las 168 libras, pero todo el mundo, por lo menos el turqui quiere a Crawford Canelo. Mucha gente, como a veces antes, la verdad es muy pequeño un Crawford.
Fíjate, el tío turqui trae una planeación diferente, está haciendo buenas cosas. La verdad, una construcción así aquí en Los Ángeles tenía años que no se veía, pero hay que ser realistas, son 3 divisiones abajo. En el peso, ya cuando sea el peso, van a ser 5 o 6 divisiones. El Canelo va a estar recuperado. Podría ser que Crawford tiene la habilidad de poderle pelear bien los 12 rounds, que nunca lo toquen, pero al final del día pues no va a ser una pelea de choque competitiva como debe ser.
Mi último, Pitbull Cruz versus Gallo Estrada, ¿qué piensas de esa pelea? Pitbull Cruz y Rayo, los estilos, ¿cómo van a salir en el ring?
Va a ser una muy buena pelea. Cruz le gusta el intercambio de golpes, va para adelante, 2 mexicanos, Venezuela, ¿no? Se llama Rayo Venezuela, le gusta el intercambio de golpes, va para adelante, pero la incógnita es que ya cayó y el pivo no lo han tirado, entonces vamos a ver quién tiene más aguante y hay riesgo de que tanto Pitbull o Andy Ruiz se roben la noche.
Ahí está. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Marco, ¿cómo calificas a Pitbull Cruz? Porque la verdad ha subido desde que iba a pelear con Gervonta Davis aquí a cruzar la calle en el Staples Center, que ahora es cripto, se convirtió en una estrella. Ahorita lo ves, fue de los que vendió más boletos y más.
Sí, fíjate
¿Cómo lo calificas al muchacho de la Ciudad de México?
Fíjate que es un boxeador que a partir de esa pelea brincó, entró en el gusto de la gente, tiene una magnitud de fans. No es un futuro ídolo, ya es un ídolo actualmente, a pasos agigantados, pero ya lo es. Le gusta dar espectáculo, le gusta el intercambio de golpes, como lo dijo. Voy a sacar el estilo mexicano, que a realidad del día es lo que nos gusta ver.
Si llega a esa victoria para Isaac Pitbull Cruz, se mantienen quizás a las 140 libras, quizás bajan a 135. ¿Cuál sería, digamos, como el oponente perfecto? Aquí andaba Shakur Stevenson, también está el Camarón Cepeda. ¿Cuál será esa pelea, digamos, como una grande que ha dado, que tú dices en tu carrera?
Yo creo que si baja a las 135, si es la revancha con Cervonta. Si se queda ahí, podríamos verlo también, si baja, porque Camarón Cepeda es 35, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Con Camarón Cepeda sería un tirazo entre mexicanos. Fíjate que yo el Camarón Cepeda, son malas las comparaciones, pero se lo figuró Salvador Sánchez. La forma de tirar golpes, el estilo es del mismo Estado de México. Ese para mí sería el mejor tiro. Pero queremos ver la revancha con Cervonta. Si se queda de 140 libras con Teófimo, ¿por qué no? Sería un tirazo. Tienen el estilo ideal para regalarnos en las 140 libras un tirazo.
Por último, campeón, un México-americano que ha dado mucho de que hablar, Ryan García, ya sea por cosas positivas o negativas. ¿Cómo califica la suspensión que le dio el Estado de Nueva York? Y parece que pues, está cayendo en vicios. ¿Qué es lo que tiene que hacer? ¿Qué le dice ese mensaje a...
Bueno, primeramente, te felicito por la última pelea que diste. Demostró que pues, está dentro del nivel. Yo quiero pensar en lo personal que ocupa ayuda profesional, que se arriesgue a tomar un consejo, doctores. Él es un gran muchacho, ya es padre de familia, tiene una familia muy bonita. Yo creo que no hay que echarlo a la basura. Hay que empujarlo a que agarre una ayuda, doctores, gente profesional. ¿Por qué no? Volverlo a ver en un futuro dentro del museo, pero cumpliendo el año que le dieron de suspensión. Gracias.
I know you have a close relationship with Canelo. Obviously, he's facing, I believe, your fighter in Berlanga. How does a Berlanga beat Saul Canelo Alvarez?
You have to just stick it on him. You have to find a way to beat one of the pound-for-pound greats. Edgar, you know, I know there's a lot of people that wanted the Benavidez fight, that people talk down about the Berlanga fight. This is a real fight. He can fight. He's young, he's fresh, he punches very hard, he's got big balls, and he'll give you a great fight. You know, you have to hope that Canelo isn't quite his best anymore. Maybe there's too many miles on the clock. Maybe he didn't have the best training camp. Things have got to go your way, but Edgar will be a live dog in the fight, and he'll be doing everything he can to win.
I've asked Robert Garcia, I've asked Sean Porter, kind of give me a 1 to 10. What do they think Berlanga's chances, threat level is to Canelo? Robert Garcia said 1. Sean Porter just told me 2, 3. Just what's your response to that? And from 1 to 10, how big of a threat is Berlanga?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Eddie,
Sorry?
How do you lose? Because he's good. Explain the story.
Well, like I said, he said to me, "There's nothing you're better than me at, other than talking." You know, right? So I said that I thought the one thing I'd be safe at would be darts. Right? I'm the chairman of the PDC. Darts is huge in the UK. He's from Omaha. I don't even know if they even play darts in Omaha. Anyway, it works out they do play darts in Omaha. And so does Terence Crawford. And the footage will be out later today.
Last one.
How bad was it? It was pretty close, but you know, it was a strong victory.
Last one. Posey's here, Eddie, and obviously he's here for Andy Cruz. But you know, it's Terence Crawford. It's his fight. He's headlining. Could you anticipate them, or do you know if they've crossed paths? Have they spoken? Have they uttered a word to each other? Because obviously,
No,
Cruz
you
wants
know,
to fight.
yeah, I think Crawford's looking at Canelo and those big fights, but you know, I think if he can't get Canelo, I think he should fight Boots Ennis. But I don't believe he gets past Madrimov. We'll see on Saturday.
Last one for me, Eddie. You've got 2 fighters on this card, right? Madrimov and Cruz. Of the fighters that aren't signed to Matchroom, who are you most excited about seeing Saturday night? Thank you very much.
Eddie, I wanted to ask you, with so much going on in Paris right now with the Olympics going on, there's controversy in the boxing ring, in the female boxing ring, with the transgender fighters that are fighting the females and absolutely pulverizing them. What's your position on that?
I mean, I don't know the full facts, but what I do know is that, in my opinion, someone born a man should not be competing against a female, especially in a sport of boxing. You know, a sport that is physical. Obviously, there are you know, potential risks of damage in that sport, and that has to be stopped, and that shouldn't be allowed. But you know, I don't know the full history about these competitors in terms of how they were, you know, the sex they were born to and stuff like that. It's a very hard debate. But let's just use common sense in this situation, right? As sports fans, as people that work in boxing, Men do not fight women. Should never be allowed. Right, guys? Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Guys.